Hello, it is 9 p.m. in RTD's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the consultation workshop on the national quality policy, other international scene, Gaza complex evacuations from Khan Yunis Hospital. Welcome to our newsroom. President Gele extends warm congratulations to his American counterpart, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gele, has wished the success to his American counterpart, Joe Biden, whose country is celebrating the anniversary of its National Day. The head of state's greetings come in a telegram in which he also expressed the hope of greater well-being and fulfillment for the friendly American people. As the world's leading power, the United States clearly has every reason to celebrate its national holiday with joy and great gladness, wrote President Ismail Omar Gele in his message. The privileged nature of the ties between our two countries is commensurate with the fruitful cooperation they increasingly enjoy in a number of key sectors, including the economy and energy development, noted the head of state. In the same document, President Gele closes his telegram by describing Djibouti and American military partnership as a perfect illustration of the high level of solidarity characterizing our two nations in the most strategic areas. The Minister of Interior announces that Sunday, July 7, 2024, corresponding to the Muslim New Year's 1446, will be a paid holiday. On this occasion, the Minister sends his best wishes for health, happiness, and prosperity to the people of Djibouti. The Minister of Energy in charge of Natural Resources, His Excellency Younis Ali Geddi, today received in audience in his office a large delegation from the Canadian Aquamerge and the Greek Sekavin Group, specialized in the field of energy, oil, gas, and maritime transport on a working visit to our country. This strong delegation of Canadian and Greek businessmen was led by Michael Hain and Circe, the CEOs of the Aquamerge and Sekavin. Discussions between Minister Younis Ali Geddi and his host focused on the interest shown by the Canadian Greek consortium in carrying out several energy projects of capital and strategic importance for our country. These include, on the one hand, a project to develop a multi-product storage facility with a total capacity of 1 million with a facility to store various petroleum products, thus meeting our country's growing energy needs. That, on the other hand, a project to build a liquefied petroleum gas storage facilities with a capacity of 20,000 meters, which will facilitate the storage and distributions of the LPG and essential energy resources for our country. It should be noted that the government will carry out these two major energy projects in our country following the signature of a memorandum of understanding which will seal the agreement between the various stakeholders involved in this project in partnership with the Ministry of Energy in charge of Natural Resources and the International Hydrocarbon Company of Djibouti. From June 3 and 4, the Minister of Trade and Tourism is organizing a workshop in Djibouti to discuss the studies report and draft national quality policy in cooperation with the German National Meteorology Institute. This draft national quality policy will play a fundamental role in ensuring the competitiveness of economic operators by making available conformity assessment services, enabling them to meet national, regional, and international market requirements. In terms of sub-regional integration, Djibouti is one of the African countries to have ratified the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. This is a flagship project of the African Union, the aim of which is to promote and stimulate intra-African trade, emphasized the Secretary General of the Ministry of Trade and Tourism. According to the representative of the Ministry of Trade and Tourism, this project represents an important development lever for the African continent, including Djibouti, whose main challenge is to move from economic growth based on the consortium of an export of basic product to sustainable development based on the quality, on the productions and trade of quality product in compliance with the standards, technical regulations and by national, regional and international market. The representative of the Ministry of Commerce said that the aim of the workshop was to discuss ways and means of providing the Republic of Djibouti with an effective and efficient quality infrastructure translated into the national quality policy based on international best practices. The PDSA DMP management was invited to take part in the Maritime Silk Road Port Cooperation Forum held in the Chinese city of Ningbo. This forum of unprecedented scope brought together over 1,600 participants from 40 countries who joined the MPF 2024. The aim of the event was to consolidate mutual cooperation and exchange port experiences. This Maritime Silk Road Port Cooperation Conference, whose theme this year is improving port services and shipping, aims to galvanize the construction of a key platform for collaboration and exchange between ports and shipping. PDSA DMP General Manager Mr. Jama Ibrahim Dabar had the honor of giving a speech at the conference on global supply chains and port cooperation, followed by a presentation of our port as a regional and international platform. Finally, the General Manager took part in the high-level round table on the Silk Road port and shipping, high-level round tables on Silk Road port and shipping. On Wednesday, July 3, 2024, the meeting room of the INPH agency hosted a signing ceremony of the annual work plan between the National Agency for Persons with Disability and the United Nations system in Djibouti, represented by respectively Douale Said Mahmoud, the director of INPH, and Ms. Emma Ano, acting resident coordinator of the United Nations system in Djibouti. The annual work plan, entitled Support for the Inclusion of People with Disability, covered the period from January to December 2024 and is aligned with the National Disability Strategy 2020-2024 and the priorities of the National Development Plan Djibouti, as well as several outcomes of the United Nations Development Assistance Framework 2018-2024. In particular, this annual work plan brings together several priority areas of the 2021-2025 budgeted action plan, intervening mainly in the areas of raising awareness of the inclusion of people with disabilities, strengthening data collections on disability protection, prevention of gender-based violence, and access to care for people with disabilities, particularly among vulnerable populations such as children, migrants, refugees, as well as capacity building for agropastoralists. In his speech, the Director General of the National Agency for Disabled People, Douale Said Mahmoud, stressed that this meeting would be an opportunity to explore the next steps in the collaboration between INPH and the United Nations system in Djibouti. The Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, made a surprise inspection as we visit this Wednesday, July 3, 2024, at 5:30 a.m. to the Yoboki unit headquarters and the barracks under construction at Lakasal. The purpose of the visit was to assess the progress of infrastructure work in line with the directives issued and funding granted by the Supreme Chief of the Armed Forces. The Chief of Staff noted the importance of continuing effort to improve infrastructure and living conditions for military personnel in Yoboki. Although work in progressing well, it needs to be speeded up if it is be completed on schedule. The visit also provided an opportunity to assess construction work on the Lakasal barracks. General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim stressed the need to accelerate the pace of work to meet the objectives set. Lastly, The visit was an opportunity to reiterate the importance of the meeting construction deadlines and continually improving working conditions.
inatahay awoodii lagu harsanayay ma og tahay askariyo asaaskii nabadiyo abaabulihii guushi ambaqaadki noloshiyo eebadii dagaalkiyo indhihiina tagay ma og tahay askariyo
The National Union for Jewish Women, UNFD, in collaboration with UNAIDS Play to Learn project, launched a training of trainers on the parenting support guide this morning. The training of trainers, which runs from July 3 to 4, is aimed at UNFD trainers. It was chaired by Ruqya Ali Jama, UNFD project coordinator, and Ms. Anais Loazilon, international education experts and UNFD trainer. This training session is explaining the importance of the guide. This guide is the fruit of the adaptation workshop that took place from June 30 to July 1st, 2024, with the participation of MENFOP, the Ministry of Women and Family, and UNFD. This guide embodies the shared commitment to the active involvement of parents, a fundamental pillar for the educational and personal success of every child. It will be a valuable tool in providing parents with the resources and strategies to support the development and well-being of their children. This guide is aimed at parents with the children aged 3 to 6 living in the main towns and in the capital. Some parents will already have attended the educational talks organized as part of the SBCC Social and Behavioral Change Communication Campaign. For her part, the project manager of UNFD said that the contents of this guided focuses on different forms of play that can help children acquire thematic knowledge and essential cross-cutting skills for their development, including games around health, nutrition, safety, and caring literacy and mathematical concepts. As part of its effort to improve the living conditions of vulnerable population, particularly in the inland regions, the Kuwait NGO Al-Rahma International inaugurated the Al-Huda village in the rural localities of Dugum in the Tajora region in the north of the country on Monday. The project was funded by the CAF humanitarian foundations of the Kingdom of Bahrain and implemented and supervised by the African Relief Committee of the NGO Al-Rahma International. The constructions of this model village, whose houses have been furnished with the necessary amenities, reflects the ongoing efforts of the CAF Humanitarian Foundation and the Al-Rahma Association to support government initiatives to provide adequate housing for the country's neediest families, particularly in the remote areas. The inauguration ceremony for these villages of 50 houses was attended by the prefect of the region of Tajora, Mohammed Hamid Abbas, the president of the regional council, Umar Hussein Umar, the sultan of Tajora, Sultan Ali Habib, and the member of parliament Abdallah, as well as a high-level delegation from the Kingdom of Bahrain, led by Mr. Tariq Al-Sheikh, executive director of the CAF Humanitarian Association. The event was also attended by the acting directors of the Al-Rahma International Regional Offices in Djibouti, Dr. Abdallah Fatouh, the project director, Mr. Ilmi Yusuf Tabir, and the project programs supervisor, Mr. Khalid Abu Harraj, as well as the elders and chief of the locality of Dugum, headed by Mr. Dawood. As part of the occasion, the foundation stone was laid for a Quran memorization center, which will play a crucial role in strengthening spiritual, social, and educational ties, helping to deepen faith and develop positive Islamic values in individuals, especially children and young people. Under the aegis of the Secretary of State for Sports, the Artas Region Community Development Association launched a summer sports activity at Umar Jaga this afternoon. The event promises in the food, including the sprintings and women's the festivities kicked off of the colors and team sprite. The Secretary of State for Sports and this said that this on Mondays Djiboutian Table Tennis Federation is organized the closing ceremony. The sports season is of the presentation of the awards at the Stade Goulet Multipurpose Hall. The Djibouti Table Tennis Federation is one of the few federations to organize a regular championship with the competitions in the following category. First division is first division girls and second divisions boys, second divisions girl. The novelty of this season was the organization is for the first time in the history of our country and our sports in collaboration with the Agency for the Person with Disability of the Parag Championship for people with a special need with the following category: foot handicap and hearing impaired boys, hearing impaired girls. The ceremony took place in a joyful atmosphere and the top three in each category received awards. The Coast Guard won the team championship for the fourth years running, followed by the Gendarmerie in second place and the third place.
Nous avons clôturé la saison.
It was with deep emotion and sorrow that I learned the death of the Madame Jacqueline Andre Malar, wife of our dearest Hassan Ali Dalga, who has gone to her final resting place after a life rich in continuous dedications of self-sacrifices in the services of Djibouti as a teacher for over 4 decades. All the generations that make up our country's current senior staff retain the images of welcoming personalities, modest simplicity, and above all, teaching qualities that earned the considerations and respect of all those who knew her. In these sad and painful circumstances expressed to my brothers Hassan Darga, his son Abu Bakr Hassan Ali, Secretary General of the Higher Education Minister, and all his family, my deepest condolence and sincere compassion is in the faces of this great and unavoidable loss, praying to the Almighty to grant them patience and consolation to help them overcome this feeling of distress. For the international scene, Gaza complex evacuations of Khan Yunis Hospital, the Israeli army recently ordered evacuations in Gaza, targeting the Khan Yunis and Rafah areas. This directive is yet another painful ordeal for hundreds of thousands of already displaced Palestinians. Hospitals have been forced to rapidly evacuate their patients to safe areas, creating a considerable logistical challenge to protect essential medical equipment. Doctors are racing against times to save X-ray machines, abdominal endoscopy equipment, ultrasound scanners, and other vital medical tools. Sanro's directors of planning at the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees estimate that around 250,000 people and more than 10% of Gaza's population are affected by this new wave of evacuation. And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.